back in the day, way back in the day, I was just a young lad starting out in radio. I was working in Buffalo, New York, and I was much younger. I was good looking. I was single. And yeah, maybe the kid took advantage of the fact that girls called the radio station. And if you heard a sweet voice, you were distracted and you would just babble with this person while the music was playing, and you would turn down the monitor in the studio. So we were doing a specialty weekend up there in Buffalo. It was called Pick Your Stones. It was one of these things, and it was cool because a lot of these specialty shows on radio, it's all BS. You know, they have a playlist, and then if you happen to pick a song that they're going to play anyway, they'll throw your name on it, and you're like, "Wow, I'm the reason why this song is playing right now," and you're in your car like this. No, you weren't. It was on a playlist, and you called in, and it just matched up. That's all it was. But there were radio stations that were cool enough to, when they did specialty programs, they really let people pick music. So we were doing pick your stones up there in Buffalo, and it was basically you could request any Stone song you want, and we were told you could play it. You know, there's no playlist. Whatever song, yes. Deep tracks, yes. Whatever they want, because I guess the Stones were coming to Buffalo. So I'm in the middle of my shift, and this guy calls in. He goes, "Hey, loving your show," you know, all that BS. And he goes, "Can you play Star Star by the Rolling Stones?" I'm like, "I love that song. Yes, Pick Your Stones Weekend. What's your favorite station?" All that garbage. Oh, the Fox. I think it was the Fox back then. I never heard the song Star Star by the Rolling Stones. And a little side thing, the show was also being played in Buffalo that day at a giant car show at some convention center. And Mike Benson, who I love dearly, who's no longer with us, and really took me under his wing when I was a young startup. Love this guy. He was the DJ on site at the car show, and he had speakers on the van, and they were cranking the music so you could hear it all the way to the other end of the car show. And I happened to be the DJ on. So I go, "Yeah, man, I'll play it. Here you go." And I pushed play on Star Star by the Rolling Stones, turned down the monitor in the studio so I'm not hearing the song at all. And I go back to flirting with a girl on the phone. And I'm just like loving life. I'm young. I have this cool job. I'm talking to some chick. And all of a sudden the hotline is like, and when the hotline rang, it was always the PD or somebody with a major problem. They didn't want to bother you in general. But when that phone rang, a light would go off in the studio, usually red. I'm like, what the hell? So I pick it up. I pick up the hotline. The monitor is still down. And Mike Benson goes, "Oh, what the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "What, man? Pick Your Stones Weekend. How's the car show, Mike?" He goes, "You idiot, turn up your monitor." Because he knew there's no way I could hear the song. So as he's on the hotline, I turn up the monitor to hear the song by the Stones, Star Star. It has the F word. I don't think there's a song out there that has the F word in it more than the Rolling Stones, Star Star. Listen to that after this live stream. I panicked, man. I'm not an important person in radio yet. I'm not going to get away with nothing. Fast forward a bunch of years, we got away with murder. But back then, I ain't getting away with this. I saw my glorious career that barely began going away. I'm like, oh my. So I hang up on the girl. I yanked the CD out of the CD player, and then I put on like Can You Hear Me Knocking, some safe, longer Rolling Stones song so I could breathe. Mike's like, I had to run to the van, turn off the radio. And I'm like, maybe no one noticed. Of course, I hang up with Mike Benson. Now I'm in the studio just panicking as like, Can You Hear Me Knocking, or whatever the next Stone song was playing. And I'm just staring at the light. The light. And of course, it goes off again. The giant red light. It's the hotline again. It's my program director. "I'll see you in my office at 9. I'm like, oh, So the whole weekend, I had to wonder if I was going to get fired or not. I begged and pleaded for my gig. No lie. I'm like, I swear I never heard the song. I didn't say I was on the phone with some girl. I said I had other stuff to do. So I turned the monitor down. I had to do the readings or whatever. I made up some dumb excuse and I begged. Long story short, they did not fire me, but it was the longest. It was a Saturday afternoon, I remember, and I had to wait all the way to Monday at 9 to see if I still had a gig or not. Because especially back then, one F-bomb on the radio was absolutely your job. And the radio station could be fined a lot of money for one. And maybe someone could go through that song and count how many times they say the F word in Star Star by the Rolling Stones. Thank you for the memory, Mike O'Donnell. I skated, but barely. I remember the PD was really mad. Really mad. And I think, honestly, he would have fired me. But I knew he was having an affair with somebody at work. He knew I knew. So I had that in my back pocket. Not that I was going to use it, but I knew. Because he would come to the radio station during my shift to meet up. That's a true story. I love this guy. I'm not going to say his name. This is a million years ago. But more importantly, the GM at the time was Pete Coughlin. And he was the general manager at WCMF in Rochester, where I cut my teeth with Brother Weeze. He was starting this station in Buffalo, and he handpicked me to be part of the new team. So I went to his office next, and he was so mad. But I was his guy, and he believed what I was saying to him. He believed that it was an honest mistake, and he let me slide. But man, it was close. It was really close.